the level of this war-class battleship that I have to fight on this map. You're going to see me do a lot of starting and restarting.
They've locked onto you. My apologies. I'm just going over some of my items for fighting this frigate. I have to take out different energy posts along the stern, the bow, the hull. I want to make sure that I have the right weapons equipped for the job. These corrosion missiles are okay. They're not exactly what I want to use on the ship, but they'll be a little bit better than some of the others. I could probably use up the shield breaker missiles pretty fast. One of the biggest things that is difficult with this, I might get rid of this and use a different device. One of the biggest problems is it has a super hyper blast that you have to dodge very quickly, as would be with any hot, huge sci-fi ship. They wouldn't be anything with some huge super hyper blast, am I right? And with this super hyper blast, you get a good look at it soon. If I take a few hits and I feel uncomfortable, I'm just going to quickly save with the map and give it a fresh restart. There's the super hyper blast. There's that blue rush that you see. So far, I'm actually chopping away. See there, it took away my entire shield, a little bit of my main damage. It's not impossible to dodge. That could have been the death of me. I took a real risk sticking around. I've kind of gotten into the rhythm of realizing when it's popping up. These are the turrets that helps take some of them out. There it was. There's another one of the energy coils. I need to let some of my energy restore. I don't want that many, my apologies. I'm gonna go to this and use shield booster. That'll help me. I want to use now, thank you. Drone override, damage booster. It might be a good idea to use that. Get out of that, go out of the way of that. There we go, there's the energy coil. Those are what I need to focus on the most. Of course, there's a bunch of other ships out here fighting me now. Keep it up!
It's so hard to keep it up when there's so many of them shooting at me at this point. Oh, I need to... Alright, so I just need to stop and build some other items that I probably have. That's one of the things that I don't like about this game, is that you do have to stop and use your resources mid-fight. These energy injectors are what I need. And I always debate if I should do some of a couple large ones or some of the smaller ones. Because I don't know if I feel like the trade-off is significant for the large ones where you might be more cost efficient to make small ones, but I'll find out right now. I just
There's a small one. I need to get out of the way of that. Absolutely out of the way of that. A lot of enemies on that side of the ship trying to fly over here, take some of the weapons off. This ship is almost done. It's just that there's a lot of traffic fighting around me.
We've got company.
There we go, took him down. How's my energy looking? It's pretty low. I'm not getting hit by that. I think I'm doing actual damage to the ship at this point. It's hard to tell. There's an energy coil. That'll do it. No, not yet. Wow. Come on. That has to be the last two right here. I have to do another. I keep hitting the wrong button for this. I'm sorry. I have to do another energy injector. That, my main weapon that I'm shooting here, this relies on energy just like everything else you use, but you can see I actually managed to destroy that frigate. That's some exciting action that I wanted to do for a while. I'm glad that I was able to capture this pretty well, I feel like. The background music in the game isn't that exciting. It is a blend between that and what I'm playing on my external monitor. The music you're hearing is not native to the game. Not all of it anyway. So I have to fly around and collect all these supplies. They're marked with the blue dots and the squares. Some of them I have to click on and choose whether or not I want to pick them up or recycle them for supplies. I see that it gave me more shield breaker missiles, but the remainder of them I can salvage since I don't want to replace my other weapons with them, and I still get the extra materials out of the salvage for it. So they did a nice RPG element to this with the different classes of the ships, the way that you level them up throughout the game, and the way that you get these supplies and materials. You do have to do a bit of crafting and mining in the earlier stages. So I think this is about the 4th sector of the game. I think there's 7 total. I could be wrong, 7 or 11. It's been a while. I've just been playing this again for the thrills recently. There's a bunch of nanobots. That's great to see when you can't pick up the nanobots, because it means you've already maxed them out for the most part. Alright, I can't get that power cell. That's too close inside of the ship. That happens sometimes. You can't really go in there. Maybe I could if I was persistent enough. I don't know how badly I want these things. Oh, here we go. I guess oh yeah, look, I want these things pretty badly. Wow. Nice. I was just about to give up on that and say, oh yeah, it's not that important. But of course, there it is. So that has a star next to it. That means that it's the best of that model that you're going to find in the map throughout the entire game. I don't really care for the flak cannon. It's good, but it's not what I'm looking for, so I just salvage it for parts. This Viridian energy, I'm surprised I'm maxed out on that. Plasma torpedoes, they go in one direction. They're great for when I'm fighting stuff like those frigates, because as you can see, a lot of the parts of the ship that I needed to actually blow up do not move. The ship itself is pretty stationary, it doesn't move. It's a big heavy class ship, so it just relies on dispatching smaller things and all of its gun turrets to defend itself. And because of that, you just have to maneuver very quickly around it. You can see the super hyper cannon that I dodged many times. That's the only annoying thing about it, and even that time extender that I have is only of use for so long. Alright, so that's about it. Everything else I'm already filled up on. That removed my fuel is now full. My nanobots are full. I could go to the trader. You know what? I was almost going to pass on him because I don't need anything significant. Oh, that's a fuel transport. It's not who I thought it was. Credits, I don't care about that. Alright. So now that I blew up the frigate, I can warp to the next map that's no longer forbidden. It gets rid of the warp blocker. I'm sure they have a fancier sci-fi name than that. That just doesn't come to my mind at the moment. So here is Sector 5, Map 3 at the moment. You can see the exclamation point. That means there's natural hazards. There's going to be things like lightning storms, maybe solar flares, or black holes. And the little cogwheel implies that there's a service station at least that I can go to refill my fuel, my health, or maybe a few other of the items that you need to craft, supplies, whatever you want to call them. Alright, so there's a drone outlaw carrier. It's not required that I blow that up, but that's something that could be fun to attack. I just have to watch it that I don't overextend myself for nothing. That's, like I said, it's not a fight that I have to do, but it might help. I mean, there is a service station right here that looks like it's about to get the brunt of its attack. I'm going to try something different. Because you have to get rid of the drones anyway first. To the ship, but the ship's main job as soon as the shields are down is to regenerate those drones, so that cycle can take a little while if you're not careful at times. Adaptive armor, that's a nice passive device. That's a passive device. I will get rid of this because I like the time extender the most, which is a passive device. That's what I go for. I usually do the time extender, that way it's one less device I have to worry about managing, and everything else is just a passive device that sucks up a little bit more energy. So now I can salvage the drone assembler for
Are you sure this is where you want to be? No.
Oh,
then don't linger.
Alright, I don't know what just happened. That is not good. I told you, so the natural hazard on this map is actually a solar flare. You can see I made it behind this rock just in time for my shield to recharge. Any longer and that would have started to do a great deal of damage to my actual hull, the red meter in the top left corner. So now with all that said and done, I'm going to go. I don't know how the service station is making a living out here taking a beating from solar flares like that. But let's go pay them a visit. That was the original plan anyway. I got sucked into something up there for a little bit. That drone carrier, that's what I let myself engage in. It's a good thing I blew it up when I did. I will buy these crystals, that's a great deal. Power cells for gas, that's a bad deal. Don't want to sell scrap. Nope. Really, this does not count as... You have to get behind a rock, you have to. That covers your whole ship. It's a lot like fighting Articuno in Pokemon Unite, which I was just going through. And something's coming out to fight me, really? Are you serious right now?
just got lucky with him. I mean, he had to be taking hits from the solar flare. Look at how long this lasts. That's a long one. That's one of those ones where you're like, oh yeah, it's only going to last a second, and next thing you know, you're dead. You're just KO'd. Awesome green light. I love the map. And that's what I was saying before, just before I started the game, that they didn't go all in on the cutscenes. They went all in on the right things on their game. They gave it an expressive set of characters, an interesting set of circumstances and things going on. It's awesome. So with this map, it's another nice green atmosphere with all this fog. I can't see the enemies as clearly. There's already stuff shooting at me. I don't know where it's at. I don't want to use my best weapons. I want to get them in my crosshairs. There's somebody that I can talk to.
Do you have the goods I requested? I don't have time to chat otherwise.
No, I don't have the gun that he wants. The little dude that's shooting at me is over here. He's close. Oh, now other people are close too. There's somebody else doing the whole sniping thing with me. This might fix my sensors at least. I should check with him. I think it's the M6A Plus or something that he wants. Right out here. You're out here, I see you. Nice. Blue there, invisible behind, right out of the water. I could get a couple of these tech containers if I want, hopefully without being greedy and messing anything up. No, that's GMB. Are these going to be GMB as well? Yes. So it's just a GMB-owned mining map. No point in sticking around. I got that little sniper. It's a shame. I should have went and talked to Tareen, but I'm pretty certain that I don't have the powered up version of the weapon that he wants. I might have actually been able to get lucky and powered it up. I could have just missed an opportunity there, but it happens. Wow, I'm getting very lucky with these nice, awesome green maps. They've really rewarded me for busting out that ship. Oh, is this another freighter? No. Just some strong drones. So you can see that's the benefit of using that time extender. And the nice thing is there's not an official timer on any one of these maps. You can hang out for a little while. If you do hang out for too long, it does send these extra Okar fighters that end up doing a lot of devastating damage. They get tougher and tougher. But for the most part, you're not on a fixed timer. So you can hang out and wait for stuff to recharge. Like I could have waited another 10 seconds really to start this fight and let that time extender recharge itself more. But these were two pretty straightforward guys. Same direction. As when you get 3 to 5 guys shooting at you from all around you, that the fights get really hectic and intense. There should be some goods around here. I might
might not need that much. It'd be great to actually make some more energy injectors. Or that's always a good one to have. That does a nice moon right there. Awesome torn up fire planet down there. There's a plasma cloud. Gotta be something inside of this thing. Little something. Light missile. I will trash that. I find it's far more effective to have something to penetrate the shield first, like the shield breaker missiles, and then just go all in with the main weapon. Those red dots, as I stated in a previous episode, those are mines. They can be really obnoxious in the later maps, especially when you're just trying to fly through objectives. They just start blowing up everywhere around you. Rarely do I fly right into them, but sometimes they do get you out of the blue. There's a little station over there that might have some stuff if I go poke around. But I think for the sake of keeping things interesting, I'm going to move on from this map. Collected a few materials, nothing that significant. It should get a little bit more interesting as I get closer to some of the later maps in the game. This is Sector 5. I think there's only 2 more sectors. You can see this is the last map of this sector. So I would say that it's Sector 5, map 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, map 6. I think they're always 6 sectors. I think maybe some of the first ones are 5. I apologize because that's my favorite phrase when I'm uncertain. It's just, oh, I think. It could be this, sure, yeah, it could be anything. Let's use this. Bam. 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 Nah, that does nothing. Moving shield. Anyway. Wow, that was great. That was enough to blow him right up once his front shield was deactivated. Just looks like it's all G and B mining sector again. I remember when I did this, I was doing it for a friend, so I did set it to the easy status. I'm actually grateful that that frigate showed up, because it wasn't as terribly difficult as it could have been, since this was set to the easy difficulty. That's why this late in the map, there's not a whole lot going on. I would expect a lot more of those sniper guys. There's these other guys that slow you down and try to take your stuff, or black holes. It gets really intense. See, this map has thunderstorms all around. There you go. And it does some of the shield damage.
There's a few of them.
See. And there's not much I can do about taking the shield damage or not. Oh, see, this one was a Bizzo tricks. Got the visitor trick.
Hey, Alec, it's you. You're lucky that we were in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I bet I am.
Aha! Got you!
I wish something larger would show up to fight. But every time this guy shows up, there's nothing that significant going on. But there's some serious shield damage being done. Since they have this option to go to the next map, I'm not going to fool around. I have the fuel as an expense. I have plenty of that. But definitely time just to go to the next map. Here I go, Sector 6. First map on it. I will start with the medium risk. That's this one with the orange bubble, but there are no hazards there, so that's why I'm going to go with the medium risk map. It should have an interesting cast of characters to fight. It should be plenty of outlaws,
and plenty of the Okara to fight. Yes, see, their skulls indicate that they're very difficult.
Bam!
So you said it for me. Ooh, that was nasty.
Good shot.
Wow, that tore my shield up, whatever that was he was using. Access key, that's great. That is a nice set of stuff to replenish. Shield breaker missile, I maxed that out already, don't need to use that. I do have an Arc 9000, that's one of the best weapons in the game. It's a single shot missile. Can't hold more than one of them because that's how powerful it is. That is your absolute all else is failing option, and it's absolutely magnificent to watch the thing in action. I'm waiting for a good reason to use it, hopefully by the last map. Like a nice little dual system setup here. That's where I got the graphic on my screen actually. I'll just take a moment to share that with you. Oh, my jumping signal is suppressed, really? Wow. So you see in the upper right hand corner where sometimes I have my monitor up to show people stuff that I'm listening to or other things that I'm doing. Oh, see, I'm goofing off too much. My jumping is like dually suppressed. Oh, because a Corvette just showed up. Oh, great. Absolutely great. That's what I get for showing off. Frustrated. Worst case scenario, I could use the Arc 9000. This is on easy. I'm doing a good job of tearing this thing up right now. I'm staying close, but I'm dodging a lot of the turret damage. Just starting to take hull damage myself. There we go. Because I used all of my corrosion missiles on that. Very worth it. Very worth it to use all of those corrosion missiles. They just drain the health of the ship. Whenever I fight that type of ship, that's one of the key strategies that I relied on in the past. Is to just unload all of my corrosion missiles into it. I can definitely make some more of those. You can see that's a lower level version of what I have. I have the best version of the shock rifle possible. Not going to do anything else but that. So now I want to press the minus button. Go into this menu here, and you can see I can build some more of these. So I'll make sure I have at least 4 in stock in case something happens. I'll leave the shield breaker missiles on. So now I need to find the other jump suppressor in order to get the heck out of this map. A lot of other stuff around here. You can see that the percentage is increasing in the upper right hand corner. I forget what I was even trying to show off before that ship showed up. Well, I flew past it because the percentage is going down. It's got to be somewhere in this big rock. It's going up. It's going up. It's not going up anymore. It went up a little bit, then it started to go back down this way. Now it's going up a lot and very quickly. Now there's some more Okar showing up. So this is just exactly like what I was saying in the beginning of the map. That
Who's responsible for leaving all these containers floating around?
That is definitely worth keeping. That's like an extra life practically. Shield booster, drone override. I don't get to use those drone overrides.
Fallen off the back of a long-distance freighter, in all likelihood.
Wow, but that's only for the gunship. I can't use it anyway. Alright, so I'm gonna have to fight these guys before I find the thing.
Always take out the drones first. The missiles make all the difference. You have to use those, and you have to collect the materials in order to craft them after you use them. Oh, that's what he used, that mine cluster. That's interesting. I forgot about that. Alright, so this is clearly where the jump suppressor is. It's even blinking for me now at this point. I just couldn't get close enough to it before those vandals showed up. Another coil gun. Oh, I just used my time extender by mistake. I wanted to hit Y to get rid of that coil gun, but I accidentally used the time extender. So it's active for a good 7 seconds. Now it just stopped being active and it's on a 40-second cooldown after that. But that shouldn't affect me too much as I go to the next area. I'll see what these are, just a couple random pieces of plasma. That means one of those jellyfish was flying around. I have 3 paths I can take. All 3 of them, actually by going this bottom path, I can negate going through the maps with the natural hazards. I was just about to say that it looked like every path had a natural hazard in its inline route, but it seems like this one I'm wrong. Oh yeah, one of these nice cool close-up maps. Sun's far away. Shouldn't have to worry about any kind of... Oh wow, that's a swarm fighter set. I shouldn't have to worry about any kind of solar flares. Like they already spotted me. I need to start picking them off fast.
Okay, that was exhilarating.
Yeah, because this shock rifle is awesome. More of my guys are showing up. Oh, here's another one of the Corvettes.
Okay, guys, let's help my friend here a little bit, shall we?
And we have
Hey,
Alex.
thanks for the support.
This is exactly what I was asking for. Nice. I am so glad that this actually happened. Incredible. This is one of those ships that has a super hyper blaster, I'm pretty sure. It's getting ready to teleport more guys onto the map. Oh no, it's not. It's one of these guys with like basic shield. Alec and them are tearing it up. No, there's a super hyper blaster. Bam! Super hyper nothing. Awesome. Having Alec just made that so much easier here. I can't believe it. I have the MK2 model on the left, so I just salvaged the one on the right. A bunch of stuff that I'm already maxed out on. A couple extra enemies to take out. They always get mad when you blow up the mothership and send up a couple extras just to try to infuriate you if you won. And they're like, nah, look, you're on your last limb, but we're gonna try to blow you up one more time. Especially on the harder difficulty. They just trash you. You think you won. Your heart's racing. You're ready to celebrate. And all at once, you're just insulted with a game over. And in this game, when you die, that's it. You're dead. That's when you're one life. You have to restart from map 1 all over again. None of this. That's why I do the save and quit method. It's the closest thing to being able to actually die without actually dying and restart on the next map that you want. I shouldn't just pass over all this stuff. I should definitely cash in on it and turn it into the extra supplies. Damage booster MK3, that's probably worth having instead of the MK2. Even though that was 2 of them, if I need it, it's going to be better to have the level 3 version. And I didn't have to make it. There's a box in there that's locked. I do have a security key that I can use to open it if I really want to. Sometimes it's better to use it on the insides of the stranded station looking things. But I'll forget it and use it on this for the thrills. Watch them. I'll open these up and it'll be nothing. Come on now. Fuel. Power cell credits. Distress signal. Gas, scrap. And a bunch
Credits
of
are merely
credits.
numbers to me.
Robot gets a little sassy sometimes. He's been a little quiet. So that's it. That's all there is to do for here. On to the next one. See, now I go down here. Medium risk, no natural hazard, and then I'll be able to go to the other one in the middle where there won't be any natural hazard either. Alright, it's another one of those swarms. Better use the sniper rifle. A little too far. They're getting ready to engage someone else, so it must be Okar fighting outlaws right now. And that usually gets me hard sometimes because I'm like, okay, who's the bigger threat? Do I shoot the Okar guys that are getting their butts whooped? Or do I take out the outlaws who are supposed to be our easier?
Well executed.
I mean, oh, I saw swarm fighters and swarm fighters left with an outlaw drone. I can't hold a charge. I'm out of energy. So the little green and red bar below the crosshairs is the energy bar. And that is what's annoying. That's what runs out the most. And sometimes you won't realize it, and that's what you get KO'd for. Not your shield bar, the energy bar, because that energy bar gone, nothing else works. Just doing a little bit of late game mining. Still on the other side, but I did find another crystal. Not going to worry about the supply crate. I'm just going to head to the next map. I do dig the colors going on here. One of my favorite little tricks. Looks like that's a little too much for the feed process, but I think it's pretty cool. You can see here, it's either this bottom path, or this top path. I'm going to take the top path because there's no exclamation point, and that means it's the same risk, but there's no natural hazards. Shouldn't have to worry about black holes, the plasma storms, or solar flares, but we'll see. Always starting off with these guys in the map now. Wow. And the trick for those is the shock rifle is just not to charge up all the way. Otherwise you find yourself wasting a lot of time for nothing. I think it's depleted this way. Yeah, there he is. You always go for the end that has the brightest point at the tip. Bam. Those guys can be really difficult in the later, higher end of the game. Later maps. It's insane. has all that done, there's not much else to collect on. We go to the last map of Sector 6. You can see in the bottom right corner on that map selection screen, there's a number in the bottom right. It's 143. That means this is my 143rd attempt since I've had this save file of flying through the map to the end of the game. And there's some interesting lore as to why they do that and count it for themselves.
Multiple hostiles incoming.
Oh yeah, there are. And these marauders, they're stronger. And they usually have more going for them as far as their rewards. I see I started shooting too far. That's going to use up a lot of my energy.
Okay, guys, let's help my friend here a little bit.
Alec again? Really? Wow. That's got to be a real treat being on Fizzy, I tell you. I wanted to aim and shoot that missile, but I was totally distracted. I just took a hit to the face, but it's not a lot of damage. Oh, look, more of them are on the way. Maybe this is their way of handing them fuel. Oh, is that one of those energy things trying to keep me? No. What is that? Oh no, don't use that. It is! What in the world is that? Wow. Oh, it is trying to suck energy out of me. Did it go away yet? Where'd it go? There it is. It does direct damage. I think it left a bit of nanobots behind, but not. Usually it's more than that. That's Alec. Here's the other stuff. That was a little interesting. Am I getting hit by one again? Oh no, it's just them flying pheasant. There's that guy shooting me in the distance again. Where's he at? You're right over here. Maybe not. Oh, there's a jump gate. So I actually have to fly to it and go inside of it. Oh, I'm back in his range. He gave himself away. And here we go. It starts to get a little more interesting because I was wrong.
Can you find me a nearby planet? Preferably inhabited? Colonial?
Let me see. Yes, there are plenty. Should I choose one at random?
Yes, please. Just get me out of here.
And that's just it. It is technically 7 sectors. It's just that the 7th sector is the last. Nothing left but disaster. And to find out why, I would need a good reason to host a whole new series from the ground up. This game takes some hours, but please, if you're interested, just let me know. It's a really awesome game I love.
I've heard rumors of a second one, but I'm not expecting it to come out. Since not much else going on, I think that I am just going to take a break here, sign off. I'll let us see the end of this once I fly through the final gate, what exactly happens. This has been a great game to play. This was by far not as the most entertaining that it could be. That was just a nice introduction to what the gameplay is like, how it handles, some of the visuals. I wanted to do a more casual playthrough on it because visually I do think this game is stunning, and I wanted to focus on that, and rather than the chaotic zigzagging through the ships and the other materials. But yes, I'm hoping that a second one does get released. I've only heard short rumors about it. I have no clue whether or not it'll actually happen. It was fun to do a couple of the colonial ships, the frigates against the Okar. Those are some of the tougher ships that you fight throughout it. Occasionally you get a really tough outlaw that you have to fight for the robot's bounty hunting career. And it's a couple little side stories that I haven't finished, but nothing too significant to it. But it's a good reason to fire up and play it. That I had some of the really best weapons that you could have through that run. I would choose those weapons every time if I got a chance, but I know there's no guarantee. But yes, I think I'm going to take a break here shortly and tend to some homely needs and come back and possibly jump into another episode. Maybe try to meet up with friends, do a little bit more on Unite. I really feel bad from the beginning of this, actually just really trashing my friend's score. I was trying to do well. I don't think it was entirely me. We did have 3 other teammates that were responsible for what was going on, but it was definitely not some of my best playthroughs either. The Blissey playthroughs, I feel like I was doing great. I was helping heal people. I was there beside them. I wasn't going down unless they did. But then with the Espeon build, I expected to be more productive. I was really hoping to dish out more damage, but it just wasn't happening. It was so disappointing to not be able to do anything as Espeon in that last match. And just, I don't know, I was trying, but it felt like I was getting very discouraged and really throwing the matches to begin with. I look forward to doing this game again. Maybe at some point I'll definitely do some crazy testing on the difficulties to see how far I can get or how many times I die. And I'll do the save and quit. I'll count that as deaths because I really have to remember to start to implore this button more often. I don't do it often enough. I'm just doing that as an example. I didn't actually die. Then I can hold this button down, set it back to 0, and I just go back in here to turn it back off. I need to mark that more clearly on my stream deck. What it is, but it just goes goofy. Oh, I know why. This is just some chilled laid-back music from the credits from Everspace. If I want to change it up, I could go back to the other mix. So I'll simply do, in this instance, I would switch these two. And now you no longer hear the Nintendo Switch credits music, but you hear the headphone music that I'm listening to while the credits are rolling from the Switch. And this is all the crazy insanity that I've put so much time into to try to get it right. Is right here while we're watching the credits. And I thank you so much if you've stuck around this long, because this is just a short explanation at this point on what makes this setup so great. Is this a crazy little bear MC5 Pro product that I got? Lets me plug in 3
to 4 headphone inputs. Actually, it's 1 to 4 headphone inputs. You wouldn't use one, that would defeat the purpose, but basically it's to mix 4 different outputs of different devices into one headphone feed. And only because I'm not using mine on a clearly rounded channel for the MC5 Pro, I get a little bit of that ground hum in it, but other than that, it's a great device. It does exactly what it's supposed to. I do feel like that there's a little bit of impedance from each of the channels as you turn the volume knobs up and down from the different things. It kind of affects the overall volume of the other channels, but it's awesome that I'm able to hear everything simultaneously no matter what, but I can control what's being broadcasted by simply navigating that on the Stream Deck. I've waited a long time to get everything all together and to make sense like this. It's absolutely thrilling to be here and making a production and doing it with some amount of quality. I feel like what I've been broadcasting this evening is right there on par with what I see in my pass-through monitor. So a pass-through monitor is the feed, the uninterrupted feed from the game console to a display to watch it on. So that way I'm not dependent on the stream visual in Streamlabs. I actually have a pass-through monitor that I'm watching the game on most of the time, and that's why I would have issues of not noticing when it freezes in Streamlabs, and everything else would be working. You'd see me on the camera, you would hear the audio. The last episode I did before this, it was very short. That's exactly what I encountered a short way through it. But this MC5 Pro has really saved the day for me because I'm able to have my laptop sound card process Discord and a couple other things for me. But I'm able to separate every audio output into its own device, because in the streaming program, it's not about channels, it's about devices. And I'm able to have enough devices to register each item as its own audio, which is very significant for the mixing process after the fact. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.